All right, here we go. Ooh, look at all that haze in the room. Okay, that little reverse thing, I like that. Kodak 250D. Fun shoot. The wide angle worked perfectly for this. Clearly, I'm not a model. No one was operating the dolly here, that was gravity. Should have added a sound effect there or something. Okay. I'm gonna show you how I lit this. I was intentionally blurry here. And wrap it up. I thought it worked. What's up, y'all? Hopefully you liked that clip. Today we're going to talk about three things. One, we're going to talk about how I shot this, but then two, we're going to talk about Kodak 250D and how I was able to apply this look. And I promise you, it is super simple. First off, this was all shot on the Sigma FP, and interestingly enough, I was using the same lens that I used to shoot these videos right here with you and I. That just kind of goes to show how much of a difference, setting makes, and angles, camera movement, even music. This was all lit with two lights, and not even powerful lights at that. The 120D and the 120D Mark II. All I really did was enhance the natural light that was already there. This is what the frame looked like with no artificial light. Now there are a couple of things to notice here. The first of which is that all of the light is coming from the left side of the frame. So you see these windows on the left side of the frame and what that light is doing to the background. So that's one thing. The other thing is, what is the available light doing to the subject? How is that light landing on the talent? These are important things that I have learned to take note of. Why? Because it's going to help you get the most natural looking light on set. And what do I mean by natural? I mean, it doesn't look lit. You see this and you think, okay, guy sitting in a room, this is what the light looks like in that room. But it's not. It looks like this. So, how did I add light? I just let those windows serve as motivation for my set lighting. So, in other words, I'm going to light from the same direction as the windows. My method was really to wrap the light around the face. So start with no light and then in a very subtle way, start wrapping the light around the face. So for example, could you tell that I've already turned on one light? If the answer is no, then I've done my job right. If you remember, this is what the frame looked like with no light, and this is what it looks like with that one light on. And yes, I had to soften the light and I had to dial in the intensity, but once you get those ratios right, and what I mean by ratios is the background lighting versus the light hitting the talent. Once you get those right, you're set up to produce natural looking light. I softened the light by adding a pretty thick layer of diffusion fabric over the light, and I dialed in the intensity by just changing the light. I think it was at like 60% or something like that. So that was light number one. Light number two. So if you remember, I said I wanted to wrap the light. So we started with the natural light that was just coming through the windows and was lighting up like this part of my face. Then we added one light right here to light up this part of my face. Then I added one light right here to light up this part of my face. So we're wrapping the light. We're wrapping the light. Just wrap it around. I'm doing a lot, but y'all get what I'm saying. We're wrapping the light around the face. And to do that, I came in with another light, same softness, same color temperature, but at a lower intensity. And this is how you get really good results when wrapping light. Roger Deakins does it. Some of the best DPs do it. When you're wrapping light around the face, as you add more light around your talent, those lights go down in intensity. So you'll start with, this one's at like 80%, and this one might be at 50%, and then this one might be at like 10%, right? So I'm not gonna do it again, but that's how you wrap light. You're mimicking what natural light naturally does. Let me tell you about this one last thing about this shot, and then we're gonna move on to something else. The camera movement. I shot this by myself, so there was no one to help me with panning or tilting, but I wanted camera movement. So I thought maybe I'll do like a slow push-in, but I didn't have a motorized dolly. I have this. It's my Axler slider. I've talked about it a lot. How can I use this to get a nice slow push-in with nobody's help? I set this up in a way, you see these legs right here? I set this up in a way that there was a small incline or decline, depending on how you look at it. And it allowed me to get that really slow camera movement without anyone touching it. So that was how I got that really smooth push in with nobody's help. A little rigged, but it worked. All right, let's talk about something else. The next thing I want to show you is how I applied Kodak 250D. What is Kodak 250D? Vision 3 Kodak 250D is a color negative film that performs best at 5500 Kelvin, or what we would call daylight color temperature. but it really thrives in indoor natural light. Has reduced grain in the shadows and allows you to really push the boundaries of underexposure. How do I know this? Because I read it off the website. And by that I mean Kodak's website. And so I knew, even before I shot this, I knew the areas in which this particular film stock shines. And so I set up a scenario that was comfortable for this film stock. Okay, now y'all, I'm not shooting real film, okay? This is film emulation. But the Enhancer, which is the plugin that I use to color grade, is so in tune with how these film stocks perform that you can go to the manufacturer's website, in this case Kodak, and find out how to best use this film stock. So, with that said, let's look at what I did in post. The workflow on this was super simple. I told you guys that it would be easy, and it is, but the reason it was super simple was because of the legwork up front. Knowing what film emulation you want to use and finding out the right environments for that film. When you do the legwork up front, it makes it really easy in post. And so my workflow was literally opening up the Enhancer, coming to my clip, I'll select, my camera settings, which again is the Sigma FP. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna go straight to the area that lets me select my film, and I'm choosing Kodak 250D. And that's it. And when I say that's it, I mean that's it when it comes to color. Like some of the other nodes, I didn't even end up using. What I did do was from there, I dialed in the settings to make it look more like film. So I went to compression, which will bring those brightest parts of the image down, making it look more like film. I didn't change the film print. I kept it on linear. I did add film grain. So I came in here and changed it to 65mm ISO 250, which is a great choice. Finally, I added some halation. I passed on the bloom because I already had the haze in the room. So you see this nice hazy kitchen in the background. And I felt that, I didn't really need it. And that was it if you have your camera settings right. Now I know that if you're shooting raw, you can come in and change those settings in post, but why not just get it right in the field? And then when you get in post, you can work that much faster. Can you push this look? Absolutely, but I wanted to see what this film would look like without strong manipulation. In the past, I would do things like apply the film emulation, but then I was manipulating it so much that it didn't really look like the film anymore. It looked like totally different. And so I felt like I was defeating the whole purpose of why I wanted to apply this look in the first place. This is what the film stocks look like whenever you get it right in camera. And so we're gonna talk about more of these, like 500D or Ektachrome, what they look like naturally without a lot of manipulation, and then what they look like when you push the looks, like this. But, all that's in the future, we'll see. In the meantime, be blessed, stay inspired, and always shoot for the difference.